Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, fiance's mother is being annoying with our engagement plans. Being used by in-laws, or am I overreacting? Feeling very uncomfortable with MIL's insensitivity. I exploded. I'm done with that household. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Fiance's mother is being annoying with our engagement plans. So my 25F fiance 26M has recently proposed. We both agreed to have the engagement party sooner so that it's around the time of our excitement and thrill of being engaged. However, his mother has been getting too involved with what we're gonna do. She once told me she hates people getting involved in other people's things/plans, but she has been doing exactly that to get us to save money. So I guess in her mind, it's not nice to get too involved unless you're helping the people save money. She began telling us that the date, 2 weeks later, is too soon and that we should have the engagement 2 or 3 months later. We said no. Her first excuse was, not many people will be able to make it, we have enough people. She knows that now. Her next excuse was, I need enough time to buy a dress. I told her, how do you need 2 or 3 months to buy a dress for a simple engagement lunch? She has stuff at home. Then she says she wants it to be perfect. I said okay, we will make it perfect. So we didn't end up pushing it further back. Now she's saying that we shouldn't spend too much money on the engagement and we should save. So she has always been cheap and put those values onto my fiancé. Don't get me wrong, it isn't always bad, but now he even thinks in terms of what's the cheapest option at times and I get annoyed. I tell him I think it's good we both agreed on some things, but then he tells his mother about the plan and she always has something to say like, is she forcing you to go with that? When my fiancé agreed with me without me pressuring him. He picked out a venue and I agreed to go. We went to talk with the woman who was great and helpful and gave us the option to choose a good package deal for our engagement party and we both agreed. She also told us that it's okay for me to bring my own candles and fairy lights as decor. Partner and I were happy and agreed. I knew it would be a problem for his mother though, and I was right. We get home to update her and she says why? She's trying to upsell. We can decorate the place ourselves and I said no, it's fine. She said she'll do most the things for us. It's a package and we're willing to pay. Also, we both work great jobs. We can still save by bringing our own alcohol and decor. She's just doing some of the flowers and all, just a typical engagement lunch. She is not happy about it and it makes me so stressed. We're meant to go shopping together for some decor, but every time I'm near her she says things that my fiancé never said to me, like he thinks it's all expensive or it's too much and stuff. I tell my fiancé and he starts to get upset at me saying I'm being annoying. What's happening, and I'm very frustrated by this whole thing that sometimes I wish he never proposed. Any advice? My partner also says he'll speak to his mother and gets angry when I encourage him to saying I know. That's what I'm going to do. So I say okay, leave it up to him, and her same behavior continues. I'm too annoyed to go shops with her cause all she does is bothers me about the price and how I'm wasting money. When I get upset, they call me aggressive and rude when I don't mean to be. I just want us to all agree and be happy. Mostly her to agree and shut up. Fiancé and I already agreed on the engagement stuff. It's just her right now, and she says don't be upset at me. I'm not trying to get involved. I just want you guys to save money. You're being expensive / you're being selfish blah blah, just making me feel bad and aggressive. So, AITA? What do I do? Update, she keeps messaging me convincing me that it's just cause she wants to work with us, and that was always the case. So I'm just messaging simple texts back like thanks, I appreciate it, cause she's being annoying. I would tell fiancé that his mother gets what she wants, because you're postponing the engagement party until he decides if this is going to be how he treats you. There are a bunch of red flags here from him, and I'd look into counseling ASAP to get them ironed out. I cannot imagine my husband calling me annoying or not facing the mums as a team. She is purposefully undermining you. He either agrees with you and you make decisions together, and he needs to make that very clear to MIL, or he really is complaining behind the scenes to her. He either needs to be clear that there are some wedding and engagement things you are both interested in spending a bit more money for to get better quality, or he needs to own up to not being happy and gaslighting you into thinking this is your problem. Something funky is going on here. Dig deeper before you move forward. Make sure you are being treated like a partner. This sounds like you just described a relationship between three people instead of just you and your fiancé. She does not need to be involved at all. You're so as being a just no and getting upset that you're upset with his mother's behavior. He's putting her feelings above yours. Are you sure you really want to marry him? I agree with this. Is this how it's going to be forever? Her role is to smile and say that sounds great. That's it. He shouldn't be sharing plans with her, and neither should you. But really think about this. Is this how you want every big moment to happen for the rest of your life? I am concerned about your fiancé's lack of support and understanding for you in this situation. If you are seriously at the point of wishing he'd not proposed because of the stress, then it might be time to rethink this relationship, because things are not going to get easier. That's what I was thinking. This is not a good sign for the marriage. Stop updating her. She's going to complain about that too, but honestly, that's easier than her nitpicking every decision. Also, talk to your fiancé about not updating her as well. You putting her on an information diet isn't going to work if your fiancé is providing an all-she-can-absorb information buffet. Providing an all-she-can-absorb information buffet. Love that phrase. I'll steal that, if that's okay. OMG, all this drama and intrusiveness over an engagement party? Cancel the party. Pause the engagement. At this point, what are you even celebrating? The joy is being siphoned off by MIL and your fiancé. Yeah, I know. I actually felt sad about this yesterday. Like, arguing about money / what to do, etc., and we forget what the ultimate goal is. We get home to update her. There's your first mistake. Stop telling her anything. Information diet. You already know that she will criticize every choice, so don't give her a chance to do it. She's a guest at this party. Nothing more. Do you call all the guests ahead of time and keep them updated on what they'll be doing at the party you're throwing? Nope. Tell her you'll find out when you get there. It'll be a nice surprise. You're right. It's my dumb brain that needs to please everyone, lol. Thanks for the advice. First question, why is she so involved? Why is she involved at all? She's not paying, and it's just an engagement party. It doesn't seem like this should be any of her business. If she can't be happy for you too, she shouldn't be involved. Second question, are you sure you want to marry into this? 'Cause this is going to be the rest of your life. Mama's boy who says one thing to your face and another to his mother, who then turns around and twists whatever he said. Sounds miserable. Stop going shopping with her. She will make you miserable. You're paying. You decide. Let fiancé deal with her. She's not entitled to any of this information. You both need to shut up about it and just do your thing. You're getting married, you're not children who need mommy's permission to get out your piggy bank. She wants you to think like children who need mommy's permission to get out the piggy bank. This is about her feeling in control when she's clearly, hopefully, losing control of her baby boy. He's decided to do a manly thing and upgrade to being a husband. She'd better get used to the view from the back seat, or even better, one lane to the right, since the fast lane is now yours in FH's. No more information to this woman. If she's not paying, it's none of her damned business. You're right. I won't update anymore, especially for wedding. Thanks so much for this advice. Being used by in-laws, or am I overreacting? So my husband and I are newlyweds. After our wedding, hubby's family allowed us to stay at their place until we find a place, but only under certain conditions. We sat down and they had a formal meeting with us where they laid out the rules and their expectations of how we will contribute, share workload, act, etc. I felt a bit uncomfortable initially because I know his father is extremely OCD about things and gets angry if something is out of order or we make a mistake. Nevertheless, I agreed, and obviously my husband was more willing and open to it all as he knows his parents and how they are. However, lately I've been feeling extremely uncomfortable with it all. My husband is fine doing things for people, but I noticed that his family seems to expect more than what's expected. Like his mom might be cooking and expects me to help and then for us to wash dishes, but when it's our turn to cook, she's constantly reminding us to do the dishes and her daughter doesn't do anything and his mother won't help with it. But what really got on my nerves is when I got back home from work today and told his mother that I'm looking at houses for rent. She said, "Yeah, and you can still come over and do the dishes/ironing/washing." It really tickled me off, and I told her there's no way we'd do that as we are only doing it now because we are staying here. I don't even think she was joking, TBH. Then, she tells me that her husband made a mistake in the garden and messed things up with the trees/plants, and when she asked him who will clean it up, he told her that my husband will. That really annoyed me, and so I pretty much told her absolutely not and that he isn't Cinderella. Then, of course, sister-in-law interjects saying, "Okay, we get it," in a bothered tone. She hates conflict, but it's really annoying. There will always be conflict, and she doesn't understand that. To me it feels like we're being used here a bit, but I may be overreacting. I tried voicing my concerns to hubby, but he doesn't seem to pay mind to it and says he won't do anything we didn't agree to. I told him about the rent and he just keeps telling me it's expensive. I just want our own space or to go back to my mother's place. I don't like being here. Any advice? Leave, this isn't a healthy environment. Get out of there yesterday. If your husband won't tell you the rent, you know you are getting screwed. He wants to move out too, but just doesn't want to spend money on rent unless it's a good deal, I guess. Well, there is some good news. No way his dad is OCD if he can leave a mess for others to clean up later. So, yeah. As for renting, you're never going to find a good deal. It's more of a matter of establishing a budget, finding a place within the budget and accepting the reality of this is what you can afford. Grown people live in their own place. Move and then refuse your due sh*t for them. I would rather live in my car than in my in-laws' home. And this goes for every in-law I've ever had. Living with your parents or in-laws, even if it's temporarily, is a horrible idea. You know, this is typical different generations living under each other's stuff. MIL is playing boss and you can't really do anything about it because it's not your house. Mine used to make stupid comments like yours because she felt in control of our lives due to us being under her roof. Honestly, I know how this feels. I put up with it for 2 years until I finally broke and a massive feud ensued. We didn't speak to each other for 3 months after it. The relationship is slightly better now, but very distant, which I think it wouldn't have been if we had left within the first year. Leave ASAP before you reach your limit, otherwise you might end up with irreversible damage to the relationships all round and you'll end up a nervous, traumatized wreck. Hang on best you can until you get a place. Find a place ASAP. I say this a lot, but whatever you pay in rent or your own place you get back 100 times in peace and privacy. Find a place and go. You're not overreacting. The double standard when it comes to dinner and dishes is not okay. What would solidify it for me is that his mother has the nerve to say that she expects you to continue doing their chores when you move out. You also have a bit of an so problem. He thinks there's nothing wrong with his family's behavior and is shooting down rentals that you find. I have a feeling he has no intention of leaving his parents' home. If it were me, I'd move out, and I'd even give him an ultimatum that once you move, he has a certain amount of time to join you, and if he doesn't, it's over. Get out ASAP. Your situation sounds so familiar to me. Feeling very uncomfortable with MIL's insensitivity. This has been an ongoing issue for a while now. My husband and I are newlyweds and living with his family until we can afford our own place. His mother will always say things that are insensitive without caring or knowing how it affects me. I can't even defend myself anymore without being shut down by sis-in-law or making people feel uncomfortable when I get defensive. So, I recently just got extremely sick and have been taking most of the week off. I'm a teacher and have been feeling extremely guilty, but I'm too sick to even think straight. It feels worse than the current COVID strain, and I think I've got the bad flu since my rat test came back negative. Today, when my MIL got back from work and I opened the door for her, the first thing she said was, "Didn't you go to work again? Been lazy?" I immediately got defensive because it doesn't help that I've been feeling guilty for feeling like I'm dying. She claimed she was joking. It's such a painful experience being sick, and I wouldn't just use this as an excuse, so that pissed me off. Anyway, I told my husband I feel like chicken soup and feel it would help me, so he offered to make some for me, which I thought was nice. So when he asked if we had things at home, I said I wasn't sure. When I asked Mael, she rolled her eyes and said no. Tell him don't worry about it. I'll just make a simple chicken dumpling soup. It's not worth the effort. His sister did say you don't say that, but I get the impression she only says that to prevent me from getting defensive and upset. Ick. My mother would never treat my husband that way, and in fact would force me to make his chicken soup just to make sure he's okay. I've just been feeling so uncomfortable living with his family. They seem to only mind that I'm sick when it benefits them. I'll be sneezing and they'll tell me to go away and sneeze somewhere else so I don't get them sick. I just don't like insensitivity, and I want to move already. I'd rather go home and stay with my mother, but she is currently overseas. His mother makes me miss my own mother so much. Sorry for being dramatic, just feel like venting. I'll just be blunt. They don't want you living there. It's an imposition to them and they are over it, but your MIL is the most over it. This is why living with family is a very bad idea, unless you already have a very good/positive relationship with them. You need to stay out of their way and try to move out as soon as humanly possible. If you do, you might be able to recover a relationship with them. But that ship might have already sailed. It's not worth the effort. Well, that's very telling comment from MIL. From your post, she seems to be very dismissive of you in general, but here she is basically saying that you aren't worth the effort for your own husband to make soup for you. That is her telling you how she feels about you. Honestly, the sooner you are out of that house the better, and when you do move out I take a massive step back from her. I hope you feel better soon, OP. Yeah, I honestly cannot wait to move out. I told my husband and hopefully we can speak to a broker soon. I do hope you feel better. Is there any way you can stay at your mother's home even though she's not there? Do you have a sibling, a family member you can stay with? Yeah, I can stay there. I guess it's just easier for me to get to work from his place. I'm staying there this weekend. Also, thank you. Slowly but surely getting better. Where's your husband in all this? Why does he let anyone treat you this way? I don't care he is picky or his mom is controlling or whatever. Those are just excuses. He likes the benefit of living in Mama Hotel with his wife as the servant. Go to your mother's house and tell him he is welcome to go with you, but you will not live 1 minute longer being used, verbal abuse and having zero respect. Your illness is most likely a lot worse because of stress. It is killing you. If he doesn't come with, he has no respect for you either. I exploded. I'm done with that household. Context: my husband and I have been living with his family after we got married, and his parents are very controlling and overbearing. His father has OCD, which causes him to get upset/angry over little things like, "Oh, you spilt water," or "Oh, you've left crumbs." I've been feeling like I'm walking on eggshells, and I broke down in husband's car after we went to get fast food about how everyone's been making me feel. It especially happened because he was telling me how when we move out I'm not allowed to eat on the bed and so on. I told him how I should feel free to do what I want as I'm an adult and wouldn't make some mess. I ended up telling him how I hate when he micromanages little things like my eating, how I save money, or I should eat, etc., as I'm worried he might end up like his dad. I think everything built up and I envisioned what my future would look like as I'm feeling restricted already. I've been trying to get us to move away as his MIL is especially a very intrusive, insensitive, and controlling person. It has affected everyone in the household, and even his sister walks on eggshells without knowing. When we got done with that conversation about how I hate being and feeling micromanaged even if those aren't his intentions, we walked inside his family's house and the first thing his mother says is, "Oh my gosh. You got food. There's food at home, why would you do that?" He told her to stop commenting and mind her own business, and she kept going on, so I got up and snapped and told her off, saying it's none of her business. She just sat there like, "Don't yell at me." So I told her I'm leaving and just left to my mother's place. I was probably being dramatic, but that really was it for me. They micromanage and make me feel like I'm going crazy. They dismiss it completely. I think I'm officially done with that family and am considering getting my own space. I don't even know if I'm venting or want someone to tell me if I'm the *** hole here, but my emotions are all over the place if you can't already tell. Sometimes I feel like this is the only place I have support, even if I don't get support with this post. You know what to do and you already did it. You left. Now stay strong, get someone to support you, and go back to get your things out of that house. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to go tomorrow to get my stuff. It's currently 1 a.m. here. Was just going to type this. Opie, I sometimes handle things the same way. I go along peacefully and try to avoid drama. Then something so small will happen, and I lose my mind. I 100% look crazy. Try to calm down, gather your thoughts, and decide the best course of action for you. I remember having to move back into my mom's house for a short time and feeling on edge. I never had anxiety until I went back and it was through the roof. Anyway, one day I went to a big music festival and got home about midnight. It was such a hot and sticky day, all I wanted was a shower, but I had to lay in my sweat as I knew how much Mom would have lost it if I made the most tiniest of noise. It was that moment I thought F***K this. I cannot live like this anymore. The issues you are describing are not small. Your home should be a place you can relax and feel at ease. Don't go back. Get your own space. If DH comes, he comes. I think for your own mental health, this is the only solution. If you get the place, then it will be yours, you and DH of course, but even DH wouldn't be able to tell you how to move around in a space you created. Good luck, OP. You did the right thing, OP. Stay with your mother until he moves out, which will be 2025. I feel you know what's going to happen next. He's gonna choose his family over you. I'm so sorry if this happens. I haven't so like that. No in-laws, we're older, they're dead. I'm moving out after 20 years. Every year so got a little more controlling. At first I could do easy things to adapt. For instance, when we went hiking, so would give me constant helpful advice on how to walk easy peasy. I just walked behind them on the trail so they couldn't see me. Now I can't prep for my job, work on my hobbies, do groceries, or garden because I do it wrong. It's not even a matter of opinion, I am doing them right because these are subjects I know much more about than they do. If I did them according to OP's micromanaging instructions, I would be doing them objectively wrong. I have a safe room with locks that can only be opened from the inside. Our marriage counselor, a psychiatrist, suggested that I don't actually need a safe room, that I am just very sensitive. I stopped seeing that therapist. I don't need a safe room now because I am not getting stalked and micromanaged because I don't do anything anymore. I'm not even working. I'm moving out in about 2 or 3 weeks and am looking forward to doing my own groceries for the first time in years. Teal Deer says, it doesn't get better. At least, not on its own. If it's OCD, therapy helps and medication helps. The thing is, your so is not going to seek therapy or medication unless it causes a problem for him. For instance, if it means he is unable to maintain a cohabiting relationship. You would need to put conditions on moving back in with him, like therapy, medication, and no in-laws. If he is unable to meet those conditions, you need to move back out or stay moved out. It might not be OCD. He might be on the autistic spectrum. Or maybe both, or something else. All things exist on a spectrum. The difference between a personality trait and a disorder is that a disorder causes problems for the person. Asterisk, if your so is just tidier than you are, you can work something out. Not a disorder. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.